Winter, spring, summer, or fall. When are the best and worst times to prune your big leaf hydrangeas and your oak leaf hydrangeas? Today we're going to take a look at exactly that and a few tips here and there. My name is Marlene. Welcome everyone. Welcome to our home and garden channel. So the first one we're going to look at would be the big leaf hydrangeas, also called macrophylla hydrangeas. You can see how beautiful this one looks here. It was at the side of my house. And these plants, they bloom, I'd say from about mid-spring to the end of summer as far as the color on the plant goes. You know, they will dry and then they'll still look really nice. But as far as the colors that you're going to get is round about that time. They grow best in slightly acidic soil, and they prefer for it to be well drained, you know, so the water can run away because they don't want to get wet feet, even though they don't like to be completely dry. You can see how gorgeous they look right here. They're just such a welcome, you know, when the spring comes around. But, you know, they can get sunburned like you're seeing right here. So if the weather gets hot, what you can do is, you know, you're seeing it looking like that, make sure that they keep getting watered. Not overwatered, but enough so that they don't get stressed from the heat. And you can just pinch off little sunburn areas. These are some beautiful pink ones right here. You can see how large they are. And for this plant, what happens is it changes color based on the acidity of the soil. So if the soil is more alkaline, it's pink. If it's more acidic, then it's going to be blue, like the ones that I have here. I live in the southeastern United States in growing zone 8, so that's why mine looks like that. They can also be purple, you know, if it's kind of like of a neutral coloration, like the ones you're seeing here. So this is pretty much going to tell you what the pH of your soil is based on how it looks. There are white ones though, like these ones, where they don't change color based on the pH of the soil. They were kind of like modified genetically to look like that. And so they're going to stay that way all the time. They do look a little bit lighter green though, you know, when they're just opening out. And in this recent video, I showed you, you know, those and other plants at Walmart that were on sale, and I'll link it at the end for you. Of course, they're enjoyed in your flower beds, but they're also great in containers as well. They can't stay in there indefinitely though, unless you're going to get, you know, repot them in larger containers. But it can certainly start off that way, and they make beautiful gifts, especially for Mother's Day usually. You also have the lace cap hydrangeas, and how gorgeous these are. These are also macrophylla hydrangeas, but you can see that they're shaped differently. They have sterile flowers and fertile flowers, so that's why you see that nice lace shape on them. I just think they're so beautiful. As far as this plant goes though, you know, typically you will want to prune them to shape them up as time goes by, because they are a shrub, they're perennials of course, and so you'll want to shape them up. But you know, cutting them at the right time is really what is ideal in terms of getting your blooms. So it's the same thing for the oak leaf hydrangeas that you're seeing here. They're very similar in nature, except that these, you know, they like to grow under shaded areas, because you know your big leaf hydrangeas, they want to have part sun. The main thing about them, though, as far as pruning goes, is that they bloom on old wood. So the wood that was there the year before, that's the one they're going to bloom on. So if you cut back the older wood, you know, not knowing where it is, then what's going to happen is that you will not have any blooms for that year. They're not to be confused though with your panicle hydrangeas. So these are some limelight hydrangeas right here, which I absolutely love these two. They can take a lot more sun than your big leaf hydrangeas, and they're becoming more popular, you know, for that same reason, especially since, you know, we're getting, you know, weather climate changes a lot these days, you know, and it gets really hot sometimes, so they can take that a lot better. There's also, here's another type of panicle hydrangea. You can see it looks a little bit different. The main thing about the panicle hydrangeas is that typically the flower heads are more conical shape. So that's how you can kind of tell the difference between them and your big leaf hydrangeas. And this one is just absolutely gorgeous. And again, because these, you know, these they bloom on new wood. So because these bloom on new wood, you can always cut them back in the, I'd say like in the early winter, and they'll come on back up. In this recent video, I showed you a step-by-step on these wonderful plants, and I'll link it in the description box. You can always check it out when you're ready. Now, as far as the worst time to prune them, that would be in the winter. And the reason for that is because at this point, you're just seeing, you know, branches that look dead. Some of them actually are. And I think they look really pretty. So honestly, I just leave them in my garden and I enjoy them. If we ever get any snow and it falls in them, it looks so beautiful. And you see that nice, poofy snow look on there. It's so gorgeous. So if you look in close, you can see that there are little buds that are coming out, but we don't know what's going to flower and what's not. It's really not clear at this point. So it's best to just leave them unless, you want to go in and cut them and then you don't have any flowers for that year or just a lot less than you would. I remember, Classy Andrew, if you're watching this, you had said one year you had cut yours, and it's like the hydrangea got upset with you and it did not bloom at all for that year. So that probably is what happened here. They probably were cut, way ahead of the game. The second worst time to prune them is in the fall season. These are just absolutely gorgeous. Quite often you'll see them used, snipped off and used as wreaths and things like that. But if you're just taking the top off, then that's okay. But once you start going down on, further down on the stem where it's still green, what's going to happen is that your plant will start to send out new growth, because typically when you prune a plant back, it gets the idea, let me go ahead and start putting out new growth. And then what happens is that the cold from the winter is going to damage those branches, and so you're not going to get blooms. Same situation again, no blooms when you come to spring and summer and you're looking for them. So I'd say the second best time to prune them, and this is my opinion, would be in the summer after they bloom. And boy, I just love to enjoy them both in my garden as well as cut flowers. I'll go in sometimes and cut off a few of them, put them in a vase and enjoy them. And I just think they're such a beautiful plant, and they make, they're good in floral arrangements too. So you can put them together with roses and other things like that, and they look absolutely gorgeous. So, when the flowers have dried down, you can go in and you can prune them back at that point. And you can see how beautiful these ones are looking right here. But, and also towards the end of the video, I'll go into tips about feeding these plants, just to make sure it's at its best performance. And it's good to have a nice sharp pair of pruners. If you don't have one, it's probably time to get one if you're getting old and rusty. And I like to have the safety lock on there. And so I will link a similar type to this one or the same in the description box below, so you can get one if you would like to do so. And I just wanted to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to our channel. We do lots of gardening topics, tips, and tours, my husband and I. Quite often he's behind the camera, but sometimes in front. And we just go over DIYs, gardening DIYs, what we're seeing in the garden centers, and just some mistakes to avoid and some tips that work really, really well for us. So be sure to tap on the bell twice so you never miss an upload. So this right here is my favorite time to prune them, and everybody has their own opinions about it. I just feel that at this point I can see what is alive. I can see it better because it hasn't fully fluffed out yet. You can see all of those, we call them canes, the dried canes, those parts you're seeing down there. So I go in and I cut them out, and just go in and snip them out. And sometimes they'll actually snap off in your hand too when you're doing it, because they're actually dead. You'll also at this time see the young flower heads coming out, so you can kind of tell where what's going to be. They won't all be out at that point, but you know that what you're seeing there is what is going to be putting out blooms. Because sometimes some of them are a little bit behind, some are a little further ahead than others for whatever reason. But at this point, you kind of know what is what. And I like to start with the taller ones. I'll take some up and then I'll go in and, trim it back. For that one, I'm going to take it out and shape it up a little bit more. And it's just a process that you go through. Now this is a good time, after pruning them, to feed them. And typically you want to get something that's for acid-loving plants, like azaleas, hydrangeas, camellias, and all of those. And I'll link these in the description box below. Of course, you can also use your own types. Some people put compost on there, coffee grounds, different things to help to feed the plant. So, whatever works best for you. So over here now, these are some beautiful ones that we're seeing in the fall. And I just think they look so, so gorgeous, guys. This is a time, though, that you don't want to feed them. Same situation again. If you go in and you feed them in the fall, it's going to encourage them to start putting out new growth, and the same thing is going to happen again. So they're going to sprout, and they're going to get frostbitten, and then you will not get any blooms again. So, best not to feed them at that point. Of course, you can always feed them in the summertime after they have bloomed, but not too far down. Maybe I'd say by August, they should have been fed already. As far as watering them now, feeding them, the tip right here is that you want to not feed them on dry soil. You want to make sure your soil is moist before you feed them, just so it doesn't shock your plant. So you go in and you water them, and then you can always feed them the day after, or you can always do it a day after the rain, so that way the soil is moist. And to easily do it, you can just mix it in some soil You can just remove the mulch and then put it over on the soil, and your plant should be fine. You just cover it back with your mulch, water it in really good, and you should be good to go. And the same thing applies for your oakleaf hydrangea as well. I just wanted to take a moment to thank my channel members. We see you, we appreciate you, and all of those of you that share my videos out with those that love gardening time and time again. And if this is your first time here, we certainly hope that you'll consider subscribing. We do weekly videos, so if you haven't heard from us in a while, you can also just go in and take a look at the channel to see what's going on there, because we're putting out videos for you every week, in most instances on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you can check us out there. So I wish you all the very best with your hydrangeas, and tell me what you think as far as the pruning time goes. If you do yours differently, I'd be happy to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. Happy gardening, and I do hope to see you in the next one. Take care.